Time Bomb from 1991 is one of those movies, and it very interestingly walks the line between thriller and sci-fi, with a scene firmly in the horror realm thrown in. After viewing it, it is assuredly the black sheep of one Michael Biehn's career. So let's talk about it.
See you in hell.
Time Bomb? Not only had I never seen it, but I'd never even heard of it before the request came down the pipe.
Come on!
Looking at the creative team behind it, MGM Studios and the famous Rafaela De Laurentiis originally wanted to throw a decent amount of money at a project they found intriguing, but also wanted to hire some, well, at the time, grade A star power with either Jean-Claude Van Damme or Chuck Norris taking on the lead role of Eddie Kay. After you watch the movie, you could maybe see a quieter version of Van Damme taking on the role, but Chuck Norris would have made this movie more like a Cannon film spectacular along the lines of Invasion USA or Death Wish 2. The director, on the other hand, felt Aliens and Terminator star Michael Biehn was the right choice, and he really made the movie. That writer and director is Avi Nesher, who is an Israeli-born filmmaker who has had some success both internationally and in the States with movies that range from fun to serious message movies. He was recruited to come to Hollywood by Dino De Laurentiis in the mid-80s, and this ended up being his first Hollywood film. He would also go on to make a couple other fun genre movies, including Doppelganger with Drew Barrymore, and the third Tales from the Crypt movie, Ritual, which, yeah, it isn't great, but it's got Tim Curry and it's certainly worth a watch. He would also go on to win the Israeli Academy Award amongst many other awards, including Lifetime Achievement ones. Unfortunately, Time Bomb would only get a limited release theatrically and kind of fall off, even if Shout Factory would release a special edition Blu-ray about a decade ago that is now a bit pricey. It's a shame this one goes far under the radar because it's a lot of fun and gives Biehn one of his best starring roles to go along with a really fun and varied supporting cast. Time Bomb opens with a strange sort of exercise with a room full of mannequins scattered, with some real humans in there who take turns shooting at a specific one on stage and are even timed for it. While we don't know it at the time, this is for a planned assassination attempt by a rogue agency that handles less than clean jobs. Richard Jordan is in charge of the operation and is actually testing his team to see which one has the best shot and reaction time. The team is full of more fun character actors like Jordan as well. Richard Jordan, who's great here as not only a creeper as seen with his rather explicit 900 number phone call, but is also just a bad guy in general.
Tell me about the one night we spent together last year.
When you locked me in the bank vault.
He's had a great career that spanned 3 decades, but it was cut short by a brain tumor. Logan's Run and the David Lynch flavor of Dune are maybe his most famous appearances, but I think he's great in lesser talked about gems like Rooster Cogburn, Yakuza, or the brilliant Friends of Eddie Coyle. The rest of the assassin team includes the likes of Billy Blanks, yes, that Billy Blanks.
Get ready, that heart is gonna be working. Watch and see.
Tracy Scoggins, and Stephen J. Oliver.
No. This has to look like an accident.
Oliver, who I confused with Steve Railsback like I used to confuse Fred Ward and Stephen Mocked, is a reliable that guy TV actor with numerous movie and television roles, while Tracy Scoggins is great in Watchers 2 and The Amazing Babylon 5. Billy Blanks is obviously Billy Blanks from the Billy Blanks workout tapes, but his career also included great stuff like Lionheart, The Last Boy Scout, and the amazingly bad Back in Action with the late great Roddy Piper. The team also has similar names as the Reservoir Dogs crew with colors as their handles. I can't imagine that it was stolen from here, as most of that movie may have been taken from something else already. We then get our innocent watchmaker repairman with Michael Biehn, who immediately meets his love interest in Patsy Kensit's Dr. Nolmar.
I thought you'd be much older. You don't look like a watchmaker.
While Biehn needs no introduction for this crowd, I'm going to keep it consistent and recommend 1981's The Fan because that's a really neat flick that isn't discussed enough. Patsy Kensit has great taste in men, as just 2 years prior she was the love interest for one Martin Riggs in Lethal Weapon 2, but she had a heck of a career that is still going strong today. Biehn's Eddie Kay agrees to fix her father's watch, but it's then immediately thrust into saving people from a burning building. This sets up not only the character's instincts, but also gives us the start of the killer score by Patrick Leonard, who also did Heart Condition and At Close Range. It really works here as it weaves through action, suspense, and even mystery through the whole thing. The rescue is seen on TV by Richard Jordan's Colonel Taylor, who knows that that man is a liability.
Well, I think I just saw him on TV. We must deal with him quietly.
Coincidentally, the action of the fire rescue sends Eddie into a state of constant daydreams and visions of him killing people. These sequences are all done really well and are packed with cold, strange imagery, as well as constantly naked women calling after him. He's almost killed by one of the assassins and then decides to go see the girl whose watch he's fixing because she's a therapist.
Maybe you'd like to schedule a session.
No, I don't think so.
After another attempt on his life, he's picked up by Dr. Nolmar and we are off. The rest of the movie follows Eddie recovering the memories of his older life, including remembering languages he shouldn't know, fighting and gun techniques he's never used before, and areas of a hospital he claims he's never been to. Biehn went all out for this too. He trained 10 hours a day with a mix of Navy SEAL Hell Week and what the Israeli Defense Forces went through. Waking up at 5 a.m. every day to train on a gun, and even learning from a specialist on what anxiety looks like, ranging from mild to intense. Interestingly, he also learned from his producer that his likeness was being used on Alien 3 without his knowledge or pay, which was rectified by his lawyer.
I cannot give that order! I am not going to repeat that order! I will not give that order! What the hell is wrong with you, man?
I love Alien 3, but I would also have loved to see the alternate version where Hicks and Newt are alive. Anyway, Biehn loved the role and movie and even took a pay cut to get him in the movie and get it going. Dr. Nolmar and Eddie escape multiple attempts until Eddie ends up kidnapping her because he thinks she may be one of the people helping hunt him down. It takes a refreshing approach of not having the two leads instantly fall for each other. There is almost no trust between the two for some time, and then when we finally do have a romance, it's a combination of relief that they're both good guys, but also stress release. Biehn actually pitched this scene with Kensit, and the love scene is very raw and emotional. Our final character actor is introduced when Richard Jordan recruits Mr. Phillips to help his team who keeps failing. Phillips is played by Robert Culp, who became famous for I Spy, but I will always know him for his voice as Dr. Breen from Half-Life 2. He also showed up in fun stuff like Extro 3 and Silent Night Deadly Night 3, with a special shout out for one of the best made-for-TV horror movies ever in 1973's A Cold Night's Death. Great set-piece shootout after great set-piece shootout, my favorite being the movie theater one, lead our heroes to a mental institution where we get a real horror part of this gem. It's pretty horrifying to learn that your childhood memories are implants and that you don't know who you really are anymore, but at the bottom of an asylum they find Eddie's birthing chamber. Maybe not the place where he was born, but rather made. He was fed memories in a horrible machine while also programmed both mentally and physically. There are so many things hooked up to him, but also inside of him, and it looks uncomfortable and quite terrible. It actually cuts into him and changes it from the inside out. Out of context, you could confuse this with a sci-fi horror film on just this part alone. Once he knows it all, he vows to stop the plan and get his life back, or start a new and better one anyway. The final scene is tense enough to where you aren't sure they're gonna stop the assassination, let alone live to tell the tale. Time Bomb was quickly forgotten and rarely released again on physical media, but it's not terribly difficult to find either. You, probably just have to be specifically looking for it. Tubi, MGM Plus, Amazon, and YouTube Premium are all available options, but it's not like it's going to be heavily advertised. Its impact is minimal overall, but if you're like me and always on the lookout for a new-to-you movie experience, Time Bomb checks all the action, sci-fi, and even a little horror boxes. It's the black sheep of Biehn's career and deserves much more attention. Definitely find a way to get this one implanted in your memories soon.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.